welcome back to the Elite Realm channel. We're still exploring the world of Poppy Playtime Charter 4. Today we are going to talk about one of the antagonists of the fourth part of the game, Doey Doughman. Give it a like and a comment if you like it. It's easy for you, and it's great for us. Now, let's dive in.
Hiya there, pal. Follow me.
Doey is a plump dough creature made up of a multi-colored clay-like substance. His head and most of his torso are light blue, with a simple face on a relatively thin neck, and he wears a blue bowler hat. His arms are long and increased in thickness down to his forearms, with his left being orange and his right being yellow. Meanwhile, his legs are stubby, red nubs. He lacks facial features, besides a line for a mouth and holes in his head representing eyes. Perhaps Doey's most unique feature is that the yellow, orange, and red colored dough on his belly form the pattern of three bendy arms reaching toward the center of his stomach. When he is consumed with rage, sharp red teeth can be seen lining his wide mouth and are more apparent before his transformation. His appearance in his more hostile form is drastically different from his normal appearance. Doey's hostile appearance, while still keeping the same color scheme as his regular counterpart, now resembles a crocodile to an extent. 6 human-like arms emerge from his torso while his back section lags behind. Several smaller, seemingly insect-like legs emerge from said back section. His head has been morphed into a tooth-rimmed appendage similar in appearance to a leech or the mouth of a sturgeon, with 3 gray-colored humanoid forms with red eyes emerging from the now cavernous mouth, representing his component children. In this form, he sports a red-colored tail. His tail has 2 splits and 3 points. 2 points are the same, with the middle being longer and larger than the other 2. His tail also maintains 4 little human arms, along with hands and a bit of blood on the base of his body. Doey presents a friendly and rather playful demeanor, but also knows how to act serious when he deems it necessary and, alongside Poppy, acts as the leader of the safe haven group. As the beacon of hope for the survivors, Doey puts on a brave face and willingly offers help to those in need, so long that they prove themselves to not be a threat to his and his friends' safety. Doey and Poppy Playtime have conflicting perspectives when it comes to deciding the fate of the factory and its toy inhabitants inside. While Poppy is eager to destroy everything and bury the foul history in the past, Doey is much more considerate of the lives of his fellow experiments, pointing out the humanity the toys once had, and possibly still have, in them. It is evident that he cares a great deal for his friends within the safe haven, as he himself made the personal decision to stay in the factory after finding an exit and realizing just how much the toys looked up to him for their survival and guidance after Poppy abandoned them. Even so, their deaths at the hands of the prototype drove him into a frenzied rage. As revealed in Chapter 4, Doey is a mixture of 3 different children: Kevin Barnes, Jack Ayers, and Mattew Hallard. The 3 children, with their different personalities, abilities, and history, each contribute a piece of themselves inside Doey, fragments of their personality reflected in Doey's actions and reaction to things around him. Matthew's personality shines the most amongst the 3. Being the oldest, 15 years old at experimentation, he was described as a dream child, being kind-hearted and considerate of others, to the point that younger children of Playcare saw him as a role model. In Doey, he shines when he has to guide survivors inside the safe haven as their leader. Although put in a stressful situation himself, he always presents himself as strong and reliable and giving hope to the survivors, becoming their moral support as well. However, he also possessed many insecurities due to trauma from an accident that killed his family. Kevin was a child with behavioral issues who acted aggressively, one who could turn on even his friends when in a fit of rage or intense emotion, making him deemed a problem child, while Doey mostly keeps himself level-headed. Being put in more pressing situations will cause his temper to rise concerningly high. When Poppy admitted having unintentionally led the prototype to their lair, Doey can be briefly seen almost lashing out at her before swiftly cooling himself down. The worst of his rage shows when he returned to the safe haven with many of the refugees killed, the immense guilt and frustrations coming to a boil, causing Kevin to take over and lash out at the player, Poppy, and everything else that caused the tragedy. This anger morphed him into a disfigured monster with more animalistic characteristics and behavior, losing all of his sanity and his humanity entirely. In this state of unquelled rage, he lashes out towards everything, even to his allies, just as Kevin had. Jack was the most innocent and playful child of the three and had a small Doey the Doughman figurine as his favorite toy. He fell by accident into the dough processing machines, and the Playcare scientists would proceed to add him into Project Doey, even if to save his life, separating him from his parents for good, which are later killed by Doey when they visit him at Playcare. Jack's longing for his parents and normal life is often reflected in Doey's anguished cries, calling out to his mother and father, and wishing to go back home in times of inconsolable mental breakdowns when things go awry.
He's not listening to a thing I say, is he?
Nearing his death at the hands of the player due to his uncontrollable rampage, Doey spent his last moments apologizing to the player for his actions, having lashed out at them and reverting to his usual soft-spoken tone. He said, "I'm sorry," twice, using different tones in each time, which shows that Jack and Matthew were the ones apologizing. For all his shortcomings, Doey is a well-meaning individual who simply wanted the survival and best outcome for his friends and those who he holds close to him. The three personalities, Playtime Co., crammed together being the cause of his inevitable downfall. Doey appears to be made of a dough-like substance, which gives him the ability to mold himself into other shapes and fit easily into tight spaces. As shown in the Chapter 4 gameplay trailer, Doey the Doughman, he suffers no ill effects from this process. Throughout Chapter 4, Doey has proven himself to be one of the most dangerous experiments, as his polymorphic physiology makes him extremely strong, flexible, and virtually impossible to kill. He effortlessly killed Pianosaurus and even held off the prototype. When enraged, he can mutate into a more monstrous form, seen when he lets his anger take over him after blaming the player and Poppy for causing the destruction of the safe haven. While Doey is almost indestructible thanks to his clay body, he does, however, have one weakness. Being made out of clay, freezing Doey greatly hurts him, and trapping him under a spinning drill is what kills him at the end of the chapter.